Sveiki and welcome back to your Irregular Latvian lesson. It is time to talk about the most popular sport in Latvia, which is hockeys. Ice hockey. Basketball sometimes comes close in second, but rarely, because hockeys really is what Latvians live and breathe. Learn to be a fan of ice hockey Latvian style, and you will get along with everyone, from your in-laws to colleagues, friends, or just people on the street. Let's go! It's, by the way, before we go, this is going to be a series or one long extended video available on Patreon, because I approached it like an academic dissertation. Strap in and let's go!
Disclaimer, this video is made with materials from Latvian.lv, the Latvian archive. Links will be in the description.
First things first, let's learn some ice hockey vocabulary. In Latvia, we call ice hockey hockeys or hoķis. Iesim paskatīties hoķi? Let's go watch some hockey, ice hockey. Let's go watch some ice hockey? Yes, is always the answer. If you yourself spēlēt hokeju, you play ice hockey, then you are a spēlētājs. Spēlētājs, a player of sports, because of the other kind would be babņiks. Spēlētājs. But if, like me, you are merely a fan of those who play, you are a līdzjutējs. Līdzjutējs, from just līdzi, to feel with someone, you feel together with your team, which, by the way, is komanda. Komanda. Mūsu komanda, our team, jūsu komanda, your team, pretinieku komanda, the team of opponents. Mūsu komanda ir labākā, our team is the best. Or instead of our team, you can also say mūsējie, mūsējie, ours, our ones. Our people, our team, our guys, our girls, mūsējie, ours. Mūsējie ir labākie, ours, our peeps are the best. The national men's team in Latvia is called Latvijas valsts vienība or izlase, but we have many national teams, including girls, women's, and juniors in different age categories, about which you can learn on the homepage of the Latvian Hockey Federation. Other super important elements to play ice hockey is ledus, ice, slidas, the skates, ripa, the puck, and nūja, the stick. Sometimes nūja is also called kļuška and the puck šaiba. Russian influences on Latvian hockey vocabulary, teasing out a little tension between Latvia and Russia in the realm of hockey that we will return to later in the story. Another non-Latvian sounding word is štanga. Štanga. It took me a while to figure out the proper name for it. I think it is vārtu staps. So that's the pole of the vārti, the net. Or in Latvian, it's the same word as a gate, but it's the net of the hockey, where the puck goes. To score a goal, which in Latvian is also vārti, except you must say it like the hockey commentators said it when Latvia scored in last year's hockey championship. Cue the video. Got it? So not vārti, vārti, but vārti! Some words just require specific pronunciations. Some non-hockey specific but important sports terms include tiesnesis, the referee. The three types of positions you can play in hockey is uzbrucējs, from uzbrukt, to attack, so the guys who go forward and attack. Aizsargs, from sargāt, to defend, the defender guys. And vārtusargs, the goalie, but literally the guard of the vārti. Vārtusargs. If somebody gets a sots, a penalty, then the opposite team plays vairākumā in power play for 2 minutes. The game is divided in 3 trešdaļas, thirds, that's how we call ice hockey periods, and in case of neizšķirts, a tie, papildlaiks or overtime is played. If the neizšķirts persists, then we can go into sudden deaths or penalty shots, which in Latvian we call soda metieni or bullīši. So that's the main vocabulary, but for us fans, the most important words are those that we can chant in the stadium. One such word is sarauj, sarauj. Literally from raut, to pull, sarauj kind of gives pull it together, but actually it is like a unique Latvian word of encouragement. Sarauj. And when chanting, you say it like sarauj, sarauj. And since kindergarten, little Latvians chant the extended version of this chant, which goes sarauj, sarauj, tikai bikses nepārauj, which means sarauj, just not so hard that you rip a hole in your pants. You can also chant malači, malači, from malacis, which means good job, but personified. It is you who is a malacis. Not sure if it really translates to English, but you know when you kind of would want to say good boy to your dog or your child, not really your friends, but like you want to tell someone that they did a good job and worked hard. Kind of like that, but without that condescending note. Malacis is just plain you're awesome. You did a great job because of the way you are. If you forget all of those chants, you can also keep it simple by chanting Latvia, Latvia. So that one should be easy to remember. But when it's time to really make noise and set those loudness records that Latvian hockey fans are known for, why not do what Latvians do best and sing? We will talk about hockey anthems later. With all this hockey vocabulary covered, you should feel confident that you'll be able to catch those words that the Latvian commenters are saying as you're watching the hockey game with your friends or in a big crowd. But in order to be a proper Leeds Utes fan, there's also some Latvian hockey history and lore that you might be interested in, and that is coming up next. In this part, to build the foundation of your fandom for Latvian hockey, we need to answer a question: is Latvia any good at ice hockey? The short answer is yes. And we have the international competition track record to prove it. For this part of the video, I asked the Latvian Reddit to list the most iconic moments in Latvian ice hockey history. And here is what they said. The time we won Russia in the year 2000 World Championship, which was the first time, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that we have bested that particular neighbor. Then there was the 2005 qualification game against Belarus. There conveniently exists a video linked in the description that explains why this game was so iconic. It is called The Greatest Comeback You've Never Heard of. And it is great indeed, because with 5 minutes left to play the game, Latvia went from losing 2-4 in favor of Belarus to winning 5-4. It was great. Watch it. Then 2009 game against Sweden, where we won during penalty shots or bullīši, and that got us into the quarterfinals for the first time. Then the 2014 game against Canada, which we lost 1-2. But while the Canadian goalkeeper defended 15 shots out of 16, the Latvian Gudlevskis, which some say started overheating in his net, defended 55 out of 57 shots. So, you know, we had a great goalkeeper. It is something to see. Then in 2021, we won against Canada finally.
And they've beaten Canada for the first time.
Which was a huge achievement because we esteem Canada to be a great aspiring opponent. And then of course the one, the only 2023 World Championship, in which Latvia made hockey history, the bestest, most iconic moment to date. And for those of you who are watching this program far in the future, let me tell you what happened. The championship was moved from St. Petersburg to Tampere and Riga because Russia started the war in Ukraine, which if you're watching this in the future, you probably know how it ended. We still don't know. We were competing in Group B, where we faced formidable opponents. There's the Czech Republic, Canada, Switzerland. A standout achievement was our victory over Czech Republic for the first time ever. A lot of firsts that year. So basically, with 5 wins and 2 losses, we made it to the quarterfinals. And then we defeated Sweden, and for the first time advanced into the semifinals. And then, even though we ended up losing to Canada in the semifinals, we secured a bronze medal by defeating the United States of America, thus made Latvian hockey history. That is a momentous achievement that the entire country just exploded with emotion over. I was walking down the street on a work day, looking at the game on my screen. I think we were going for lunch with my husband, looking at the game, going like, ah! So yeah, I'm sure that I was not the only Latvian who was doing that. The press dubbed the team Sapņu komanda 2023, the Dream Team 2023, and they really were. A lot of players got honored, and the goalie, Artur Shilovs, was honored as the best goalie of the entire tournament. And there's also a YouTube channel called Sport Studio, which is, I believe, also a TV channel in Latvia, which has made a nice video to watch for this occasion, montage, that's called 27 Years Road to Bronze. So all the highlights, some probably which I have mentioned, and some more, so you can watch that if you want. So yeah, Latvia is pretty good at ice hockey. And another fact is that although we have quite a small population, we have produced quite a lot of NHL players. 28, I think, in total, and 3 are playing right now. And we're, proud of them. And every other day in the Latvian news, you can read stories about how one of them is helping kaldināt, which means to smith or like to work a piece of metal like you would a sculpture, kaldināt uzvaru. So they help shape the victory of their teams. Okay, I hope that answers the question. Is Latvia good at ice hockey? Yeah. And we're only gonna get better. So now that you know why you should be a fan, next let's explore how to be a good fan and to fit into what are called the best fans in the world, also known as Latvian ice hockey fans. See you in the next section. So by now I'm sure that you want to be a fan, but how to be a fan? Now let's take a deeper look into what it means to be a Latvian ice hockey fan and why Latvian ice hockey fans are considered the best in the world. The Latvians are probably even better at being fans of ice hockey than we are at actually playing ice hockey. This is not just us saying that about ourselves, this is an internationally recognized fact. And not only are we the best, but we are also the loudest fans in the world. Why? Well, for one, Latvian fans fly wherever they are needed to make sure that the team hears us in any stadium that they are playing.
On the hockey fans from Latvia, their team may not be in the running, but they sure do love them anyway.
In Latvia, hockey is religion. The nation's parliament once shut down early just so they could watch a hockey game. And these people have traveled over 1,000 miles to celebrate their team.
No chance for the home team if they're playing against Latvia. Latvians will make sure that all they hear is Latvia, Latvia. Also, Latvians have unbreakably high spirits, both in the spiritual sense and in the alcoholic one. There is an ode to Latvian fans written by a Canadian sports journalist in 2019, in which he marvels at how much Latvians can drink and party multiple days in a row. And yes, Latvians might be drunk, but we're also classy, because that same writer also asked, I think, German stadium security guards, like, don't you ever have any problems with all of these crazy drunk people? And they said no. Latvians may be drunk, but they are also the friendliest people, and they don't cause mayhem like some other countries sometimes can. So yeah, Latvians are well behaved. Well, except of course when we're not. I'm thinking about the 2006 World Championship when we had a game against Canada in which we lost 11-0, and the Latvian fans really felt discriminated against by the referee, especially during the first period, and they made their emotions seen by throwing items onto the ice. It got so bad that they had to stop the game and clean the ice, and then they started the game back again, but by the third period it was happening again and they had to stop the game again. So how they dealt with it then is that the Latvian ice hockey player Jānis Sprukst spoke to the audience over the stadium speakers, basically saying like, I know that the referee is like, I don't like him too, but let us finish the game. And they did. After that, the crowd calmed down and we lost that game pretty badly. So others, not only this Canadian writer, have praised Latvia on the global stage. We have the ex-president of the International Ice Hockey Federation, René Fazel, writing in 2006 in the, the New York Times of Ice Hockey, called Ice Times, that Latvians are the best fans in the world. And I've also seen this quote attributed to him in different years, like from late 90s to early 2000s, so he must have said it quite a lot. Back to traditions. Alus, beer, is an essential part of watching Latvian ice hockey. There was a saying my dad said in the 80s that when something like dzeriet alu alderis, drink the beer alderis, būsiet kā balderis, you will be like the ice hockey player Balderis, who was highly esteemed at that time. But also somebody on Reddit said that ice hockey without beer is pretty much just figure skating. And I have heard that before, so it's definitely well rooted in Latvian tradition, this expression. And another, perhaps the coolest tradition among Latvian fans is that after we win a game, fans go and lay flowers down at the embassy of the country that we bested. So here you can see us laying the flowers at the American embassy last year, and here at the Swedish embassy, with a slight variation on the tradition. Because we also do enjoy Eurovision. So yeah, Latvian fans go to great lengths to support our team. We also gather in city squares to watch it together, and I read somewhere in the news that LTV, which is the Latvian national TV broadcaster, is encouraging people to obtain free licenses and host their own public view parties. So that's pretty cool. And when we won the bronze medal in 2023, the parliament actually decided to give the next day off for all Latvians so they could join into the celebration and, if possible, go to the main square of Riga, the Freedom Square, to greet the team as they flew back from the championship. So you could say that it was a pretty controversial move. Like, not everybody was completely on board with this decision, especially because it was just so sudden. I think they decided that at midnight in the parliament, but I'll say it was worth it for the police drone shots. I mean, look at this. Approximately 30 to 50,000 fans gathered to greet the team that day. And that's pretty awesome. And there's also a really sweet interview that one of the hockey players gave to the International Hockey Federation after the win, saying how much it means to our country and to the team to do this for our country. So, description. So yeah, to resume, go wherever the team goes, make sure you are well hydrated with beer, and celebrate as hard as you can. That is how you be a Latvian hockey fan. And now, let's talk about why is ice hockey so popular in Latvia? Like, we know we're good, but it's almost a religion. Let's talk about that next. Why is ice hockey so popular in Latvia? Why is it more popular in Latvia than in the other Baltic states? I find this to be a very interesting question, and I hope you will enjoy my approach to it. First things first, domas dalās. Thoughts are split on this matter. Some people say that love for ice hockey is a leftover of Russian influence, of Soviet influence in Latvia. Of course, everybody knows we were under totalitarian rule for half a century, and during that time, not only were people imported into Latvia, but so was the culture. There was a process of Russification. The remnants of that are still felt in our society, and so these people that support this view say that ice hockey is one of those remnants. The other camps say that it's the other way around. Latvian tradition of ice hockey actually predates the Soviet Union. You know that there was an independent Latvia before there was Latvia in the Soviet Union, and our team had a place in the International Ice Hockey Federation and was participating and doing quite okay in tournaments. And actually, when the Soviets decided that they shouldn't invest in bandy anymore, which was like the previous version of ice hockey they played, they call it Russian hockey. They actually brought Latvians in to teach the Russian bandy players how to play ice hockey because we had that experience. And the reason they wanted to play ice hockey is because it became an Olympic sport and bandy was not. Wikipedia says that the first ice hockey game in Latvia was played in 1909. So even before Latvia was independent. These are these two possible theories. But no matter how you look at it, it is clear that ice hockey in Latvia is not just a sport or a hobby, but it also serves some pretty important functions in our society. One, it is a building block of Latvia's brand as a nation and expression of our national narrative. And two, it is a way for Latvians to express our Latvian national identity. So I would argue that understanding Latvians' love for ice hockey could give you a glimpse into the depths of the Latvian soul. And this is my hypothesis that I will present to you now. And my reasoning here is influenced by two things. There's an academic article written by Ainārs Brēncis and Juris Ozols, which is available online, and it discusses the brand of Latvia, building the Latvian brand after regaining independence and the role that hockey has in it. And the second influence is a lecture that I recently watched given by our ex-president, Vaira Vīķa Freiberga, to a bunch of political students in Rīgas Tradiņu University. And she talked about the importance of national narrative and that it's everybody's responsibility to uphold it in some way, in whichever way we can. So listen to this. On ice hockey, Ozols and Brēncis write this. Let me read it to you. After regaining independence and collapse of almost all the industry, there was little left for positioning Latvia as a nation. So founding for ice hockey was a spontaneous and very convenient way for local people to speak common language about their nation. The message to the outside world was, we are a small nation risen from the rubble, but we can be part of world's elite either as players or also as supporters. To me, this makes a lot of sense, as even during the Soviet times, from what I gather, fanning for Latvian players when they succeeded as part of the Soviet team was a way to safely express a little bit of national pride and of national identity, which was of course completely crushed by the regime that under no circumstances wanted Latvian people to feel like they were a people apart and maybe deserving of freedom. So the academic article also says that the early 90s and 2000s were a time of ice hockey euphoria in Latvia. I imagine that after regaining independence and being able to use the Latvian flag and to see the Latvian colors on ice, and just that thought of us having our own country, which was really, really emotional for a lot of people, it got channeled into the ice hockey. So it's almost kind of like ice hockey became this vehicle to express the joy that came with regaining independence. Before maybe we managed to put into words what would come later with foreign policy and positioning Latvia more and more as part of the Western countries, as aspiring to be a Western country, becoming once again a part of the International Ice Hockey Federation and starting to play among these nations as a proper nation was probably a really, really great feeling that molded together that independence, joy, and maybe just casual love for sports. So when we got reaccepted into the hockey league and also made our way up to the strongest A division, hockey then also became a vehicle to assert our not only the desire to be on the global stage, but to also prove that we can work as hard as everybody else and we can make it. We can show the world that we have what it takes to be among those nations that we have admired and dreamt about for so long. And again, I'd like to zoom back and look at hockey as maybe an expression of something wider going on, because nowadays it's easy to forget sometimes that we were some time ago not in the EU and in NATO, but upon watching that lecture by Vairvīķa Freiberga, I was reminded that it was actually also like a very hard road to get there, that this lady, together with other diplomats, paved for Latvia. Kind of like our hockey team. So, full disclosure, I'm a giant fan of Vairvīķa Freiberga. I think that she and Zenta Mauriņa, the Latvian writer, are like one of the best communicators Latvia has ever had. And so I invite you to have a listen at her speech from the 2002 NATO summit in Prague, which was the first summit that Latvia was officially invited to attend. And in that summit, she says,
"Our people have been tested in the fires of history. They have been tempered in the furnaces of suffering and injustice. They know the meaning and the value of liberty. They know that it's worth every effort to support it, to maintain it, to stand for it, and to fight for it."
I feel like the same willpower and the same desire to prove Latvia to be worthy of its place in the international community shines through also when we talk to hockey fans, because hockey really is the thing that we believe that we are great at and we have the potential to be great at. Maybe hockey is a manifestation of Latvian liberty. Is that going too far? But what I will say is that I think Latvians have projected onto hockey some of the values that we consider core to the Latvian identity, at least the ideal Latvian identity. And these values are that we are really hardworking and we will do whatever it takes to achieve the highest level of excellency, because we do value quality, and we will do that even in the face of unlikely odds. Second, nothing, not even occupation and the terrors of that, will erase us. So defeats won't either. We are very good at trying again and again and again and again until we succeed. Also, third, Latvians will go to great lengths to support our own. And that might be really idealistic, because we know that Latvians can also sometimes be backstabby, and also we are known for being envious of one another, etc. But I think that hockey really brings out the best of us in this case. And deep down, I think that we do aspire to be really supportive of one another, even if we can talk about this in another video, about why we are so envious. And I think Ozols and Brancis agree with my theory, because they say being a fan of ice hockey enabled the population to show to the outside world that we as a nation are ready to be part of world elite, not only in hockey, but also, most likely, as society though, in other spheres of life. And also, Latvian fans grow and change. I think it's very significant that in 2022 Latvian fans called for Dinamo Riga, which is like the most famous club of ice hockey in Latvia, or at least used to be, to pull out of the Continental Hockey League, also known as Russian Hockey League, so following the invasion of Ukraine. Again, hockey and politics go together. Well, I mean, I think it was significant, even though Dinamo seems to have been on a downward spiral for a couple of years anyway, so it's not that popular anymore. But still, you know, it is a gesture. And I think it's important that Latvians recognize the significance of such gestures, even if they don't seem so huge. They are. Okay. And that is my answer to the question, why ice hockey is so popular in Latvia, and maybe more popular in Latvia than in Lithuania. Although actually it would be interesting to know though, why is it not so popular in other nations, because apart from less Russian influence, I can't think of another reason off the top of my head. But if you are Lithuanian and Estonian and feel like pondering on this thought, leave it in the comments. I'd be delighted to know. So we've looked at the vocabulary, we've looked at traditions, we've also had a deep academic pondering, at least by my standards. Now it's time to go to the roots of what it is being Latvian, and that of course is singing. So it's part 2 of vocabulary, except musical one, how to be a Latvian fan, in the sense how to chant and sing in the arena to make sure to help Latvian fans set those loudness records that I think we already hold a couple of those. First, simple enough, we like to sing Ole, 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 Latvia, uzvara, which means Latvia, victory. This usually goes together with saroi, boom boom boom, saroi, boom boom boom. So you can interchange these both and or treat them as one. I think you sing ole 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 twice and then you go saroi saroi, which, in case you forgot, saroi is a very uniquely Latvian beautiful word of encouragement. Saroi. There's also a chant that goes dar ko var, Latvijai ir jāuzvar. Dar ko var, do whatever it takes, Latvijai ir jāuzvar. Latvia must win. This is also a song, by the way, by Gunārs Meijers, who is a famous Latvian Schlagermeister. Schlager is like one of the maybe not so much liked, but traditional expressions of Latvian music, influenced by German, I think. And this guy, Gunārs Meijers, was a big hockey fan, so he wrote quite a lot of Latvian chants and skaitām pantiņi chants, rhymes into songs. So he loved hockey and he wrote hockey songs. And you might think that, like, well, he's not that famous, so he doesn't really deserve his place here on the Irregular Latvian Guide to Latvian Ice Hockey, but I disagree, because he is actually pretty good, and there have been many pretty bad attempts by quite a lot of Latvian musicians to write hockey anthems. Most of them I can't even listen to, but his songs I like, so there he is, here in the list of anthems definitely to know. And another one of his that is really good, also based on a chant that I think predates the song, Cerība bij jūsu, uzvara mūsu, saroi Latvia. The hope was yours, victory ours. The victory is ours, saroi Latvia. So yeah, those two. However, the most famous Latvian hockey anthem that has nothing to do with hockey, actually, is by a band called Jauns Mēnesis, or New Moon, and the song is called Kad mēnesis jūrā krīt, when the moon falls into the sea. Thanks to a YouTube channel called Latvian Songs Translated, you can watch the song with subtitles in English to know what it is about and to learn it, because you will need it in the arena. But basically it's a song about a guy asking a lovely lady why is she living rent-free in his mind. And whenever that song comes on, according to my contributions for Reddit, the whole arena explodes. Also, you might be hearing this song around hockey season a lot, not only in arenas but also in your everyday life, because some Latvian streaming charts show that there's like a spike in the year of this song coming back from the ancient song charts to high ranking places in the Latvian charts because people are listening to it so much during hockey season. And then of course, when we win, you better know how to sing the Latvian national anthem, okay? Because that is what happens, and you know. So if you need a refresher, let me know and I'll make a video on how to sing it. Although I think it already exists in Latvian national symbols. Might want to check it out. Now Latvia is about to play, it's time to learn. So there you go. Un nu viss. Thank you for watching this video or all videos about Latvian ice hockey, vocabulary, traditions, and everything else that I could squeeze into these videos. Huge thank you to the Latvian Redditors who helped me with the research for this video. I am very, very grateful. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I want you to know that I adore the Latvian Reddit. I have always been a quiet observer, and it means a lot that you welcomed me and responded to my question, and I look forward to future collaboration maybe. And if you feel like I missed something that should definitely have been in this video, let me know. I do appreciate constructive feedback. And if you even are not a Redditor, I surprisingly find the topic of Latvian ice hockey, especially in the lens of our national identity, to be a very interesting topic. So I'm looking forward to having a discussion with you in the comments if you so desire. Let's do that. And quick shout out to everybody following Irregular Latvian channel on Instagram, where I make daily news. Thank you. As you might have noticed, I made a switch over from my normal Instagram profile into a dedicated one. Give it a follow because I intend to post something there very soon. something interesting, some new type of content. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching. Leave a like. See you next time. Bye!